everyone, it's Tara here with Create Life Paper Words, and I have another long process video for you. This one is a traveler's notebook, and I am documenting my family photos from 2010. These photos are our professional family photos that we have done every year, and my goal is that I'm going to have a nice small traveler's notebook for each year since 2008. So I'm just currently working on my 2010 ones, and I've already done my 2014 ones, and you can see those on my YouTube channel if this is the first one that you're watching. So for this one, I decided to do a acetate cover along with the designer paper cover. So it was pretty easy to do. I did everything the exact same. My papers are all cut at an 8x8, and I just made sure I folded the acetate one really well, and then when I sewed it, I just had to make sure that it was sewed really well onto the rest of the papers. You already saw me do my 8x8 photo, and I think that's going to be a staple for the center pages of all of these little traveler's notebooks. And as well, if you are wanting to know how to make a traveler's notebook, they are super easy. I just posted a tutorial on how to make them the other day, like yesterday, maybe this morning. And so that is also on my YouTube channel. It's a very quick photo, and like I said, they're very, very easy to make. I'm just working on this cover. I decided I wanted to go with a little flip-up photo, and so I believe I cut it at a 3x3, so it's just a little square. And then I couldn't quite decide what I wanted in the flip-up. I wasn't sure if I wanted another photo or if I wanted some journaling. So I get this little top part of the flip done, and then later on I go back and finish it up. I end up really liking how my cover looks. I really like that it's got the acetate with the designer paper in the background of that. I think it's a great contrast, and I really love that little flip-up pocket. I think it works really well with this. So a little bit of background on my photos for this year. This was the year that we still just had Aubrey, so this was our last year just being a family of 3, and Aubrey would have been almost 2 in these photos. We took them in a city that was fairly close to us. It's about a 40-minute drive away, with the lady who had done our maternity photos and our Aubrey's baby pictures, and pretty much all of our photos up until this one right here. And she has a really, I really liked her style. She has a studio that is downtown, and it has some really cool old buildings around it. So I really loved when we did all the photos down there, and I just really like the feeling that you get from them. We had so much fun with these. Aubrey is a little bit of a show-off. She loves posing, and she is still that way, so she had a lot of fun with these photos. So it was so much fun to do these photos and remember these photos and how much fun we had as our little family as I was putting them all together. And it really made me remember how nice it is to just have one child that you are trying to get to smile and to do what you want for photos. It's much easier than having 3 children that you're trying to all get to look the same way and all smile and all be happy. So it's really been fun for me to look back and to actually scrap these photos and to remember those fun times. So I really decided that I wanted to use up some more vellum throughout the book, and I stamped using Stays On onto that vellum, and it says Together. That's a stamp from Felicity Jane, and then I stamped right over top of that with white Love. And I really like the transparent look that the vellum brings, and it's a very soft look. I did try using my tiny attacher just to put a little embellishment on that, but it sort of crinkled the photo funny, so I had to smooth it out and redo that one. And just now moving on to my next page. I always like to color coordinate all our photos and what we're wearing, so I decided to go with a gray and purple theme for this year's, or 2010s that I'm doing. So I wanted to get a nice bright purple, and I had to do some mixing in order to do that. So I'm just using up all my little mists and that kind of stuff to try and figure out what purple's going to work the best. And then I remembered, oh, I have a purple. Yeah, I should have really looked further. So I added some of that in, and that got me the bright sort of purple color that I wanted. And then what I do is I end up spraying my doily. Actually, I spritz my doily with some water first, and then I spray it. I don't really know why I did that. It seemed to work, and then I blotted it a bit, and then I used my heat gun to dry it, mainly because I was being very impatient and didn't want to wait for it to dry on its own. If I were to plan things out better, I maybe would have just waited for it to dry on its own and would have done other stuff. But I didn't really know what I was doing yet, but I knew I needed my doily to be purple. So that is why I did that, I guess. And I like the look of having the photo carry over onto both sides of the page. So that's why I think I did this in my last one, but that's why I've been cutting the photo just so that it carries it over to the other side of the page. And then more adhesive. I'm not sure why I kept using this really thick, heavier two-way tape. I'm not really sure why I was using that for most of this. My glue runner probably would have been a lot easier, but I don't know, maybe I just wanted it to really stick onto the page. And then I've got out my awesome labels that I made with my silhouette, and I absolutely love these. So I picked out a purple one, and the purple really matched my doily really well. And then put that cute little paper clip over top of it. I have just sort of remembered that I had these paper clips, so I've been trying to use them up as much as I can, because I love how a little paper clip works, how a paper clip looks. And what else am I doing? Oh yeah, and then I want to put some alphas on here. I went through a couple alpha sheets just trying to decide what color I wanted. I wanted to go a lighter color, except I am definitely running out of letters that I need. If anyone has any ideas on how to use up your letters, I'm getting to the point where I'm just going to start throwing out my little 4x6 alpha sheets, because I just am having a hard time making words with them. So if you have any suggestions or ideas, I would love to hear them. I'm spelling out our little family, and I got this awesome little small T-square ruler at Michael's. It was such an awesome find because I'd been looking for one for a while, and I don't know why I didn't think to look at Michael's in the first place. I've looked at like Canadian Tire and Home Depot, and they have the big ones, but I was looking for a small one that I could keep at my desk. And so I was very, very excited the other day when I actually I took the wrong aisle is what happened, and just was walking and saw it just sitting there and on the shelf, and I was really excited. So I grabbed one, and I am really loving it. I am not the straightest I'm not the best at putting things straight or cutting straight. So anything that gives me a little bit of a help is a great idea. In this photo that I'm working on, there is a tiny bit of a bright green on the door, and it's what I really loved about this area that we went to for this photo. So I wanted to bring that green out, and by using that tealy greeny plain cardstock, I find that that really pulls the colors of this gorgeous photo out. Like that brick red is just amazing, and this one ended up being one of my favorite photos. Was this photo right here, and I actually used this photo on the very last page of this little traveler's notebook as well. I decided I wanted to do a circle stamp, and I wanted to do it on vellum, but when I stamped it on vellum it bled a little bit. I'm not really sure why, so I ended up stamping on that white cardstock, and that seemed to be a little bit better because you can actually see the script that's on there in the negative space. So I trim that or cut that out and attach it right over top of my little washi tape that I have there. And call this almost done, I think. Oh no, I stamped family on there. And again, that family is from Felicity Jane. I believe it was the November kit maybe. And then I just do a little bit of writing on there. And I go back over top of it to make it look more like brush lettering. So I just do an extra line on my downstrokes. Trying to remember what that says. It says family where life begins, our love never ends, I think, or where life begins and love never ends. I'm pretty sure I had Pinterest up while I was working on this little notebook, and I was probably typing in quotes and that kind of stuff. So I've got a photo of myself and my husband, and I always make sure to get photos of him and I, and then us by ourselves whenever we get photos done. I believe I only got maybe 10 photos on this package that I bought. Normally we get about 20, or at least we have been lately. We've been getting 20. And so I definitely can get those extra photos, ones of myself and one of my husband and one of each kids. But I don't think that my package for this photo shoot came with that. So I think it was only 10. And so I had to pick and choose very carefully which ones I wanted to use. So I'm pretty sure I opted to go more with the family ones of us because there were some amazing shots as opposed to the individual ones of everyone, except for my daughter, of course, because she is so adorable. I did get one of her, and I'm pretty sure that's the one we used on our Christmas card that year. She's just a little cutie. So I just do a little tag or a little label, and then a little tag that says sweethearts over it, and then a little bit of writing, and that was it for that one. You've already seen me do the middle center pick photo, and for that one I do a 8x8, and I think it's stunning. I absolutely love how the full picture looks in the traveler's notebook. So that's one that I will be doing from now on for wherever I can. So this is the one of my daughter, and she's just so adorable. It's so much fun because it's really hard to tell when we look at photos of Emmy at that same age, which one is her and which one is Aubrey. In 20 years, I'm not going to remember, except that I have, these photos, so it has the year, so I will remember. But if I didn't know, they look identical. Even their hair right now is about the same length. Aubrey's is a tiny bit redder than Emmy's is. Emmy's got a lot more blonde in it. But they are just so identical. It is so adorable. And even Emmy right now, a lot of her mannerisms remind me of how Aubrey's was at that age too. So I decided I wanted to do a bit of a cluster of elements here and embellishments. So I've got these are puffy stickers, and I cannot remember what collection they are from. I could not even tell you. I can't even remember when I got them. But I've been wanting to use them for just the right thing, and I thought the colors worked really well with the colors in the photos. So that's what I chose those for, and I just sort of pulled out little pieces and just started adhering. I had a lot of trouble with where I was going to put those enamel dots. I ended up moving them a couple times. They just I don't know if they just weren't working or if it just wasn't working in my head, I don't really know. This A is from my Week in the Life kit that I did not use. So A for Aubrey, of course. And then I've got that little 2 there because she is almost 2 in this photo. Pretty close to 2, in fact. And yeah, I had to trim off a little tiny bit extra there so that it would close. And then this circle is a chipboard circle from the Ali Edwards lens story kit. And I'm not a subscriber, but I do every so often I'll do a monthly month-to-month one if there's one that I really liked. And when I saw the Eat one, that was the one before this lens kit, I waited a good probably 3 hours too long before I decided to order it. And I unfortunately missed it. I was so disappointed that when I saw this lens kit and I saw there's 4 circular chipboards and they all sort of fit into each other like the ones here. And when I saw those, I was like, yeah, I have to have this kit. And so I ordered it right away because I did not want to miss it selling out again, which I believe it did. So I'm really, really glad that I bought it when I did. I struggled a little bit with the placement of these circles. I really had to move them around because at first I wanted 4 and then I just could not get it to work. So I opted to go with just 3 and it's a little bit better. I like how this layout looks. I feel like maybe I could have done something differently still, but I keep it pretty simple. I think I want some embellishments on it, but they just don't really work. So I do some journaling right around that circle with Aubrey and Colin. I cannot remember what I'm writing. I think it has something to do with the story kit, something about seeing what I see or something like that. Be able to see in the still photos when I do those later. And then there's Aubrey, and she had to bring her baby. Like she was like, nope, I'm bringing my baby. So baby came with us to every single place that we walked to for these photos. And then we let her have her in the photo for one of them. So it was pretty cute. She loved that little baby of hers. I decide that I want to use this little envelope, and it came from, I don't know, like a Studio Calico kit, like from a while ago maybe, I think. And so I just adhere it to that little envelope, and then I want to use this key because it's cute. It says "Key to My Heart." And I end up having this idea to do a wood grain. And so I had bought, I want to say in the fall, a bunch of wood grain papers from Paper Issues, I believe. And so I decide on this one right here because I think that the colors work really well with the photo and the color of the little envelope. So I cut each of those. So I cut it at 8x8 and then I cut it at 4 inches just so that I can adhere one on each side. My book's getting a little bit bigger, so I had a feeling it might warp the page a little bit if I just kept it at 8x8 and then tried fitting it in there. So I get those adhered down, and for some reason I use my tape runner for that. I have no idea what I'm doing apparently. And do a little bit of trimming because you get a bit of an overhang sometimes, just as your notebooks get a bit bigger. And I love how this page turns out. Oh my goodness. I'm watching the process of it right now and I'm just like, oh my goodness, this page is gorgeous. I love wood grain. I've been really obsessed with anything wood grain. I was at Stamping Club the other night, and the lady who demos was showing us the wood grain paper pack, and I'm so excited. That I think is on my June's to order list immediately because wood grain anything, and I'm all over it. So I wanted to decorate the inside of this similar to how I'm doing the very front cover. So I bring back that white and pink stripes and that's the same as the flap on the cover. When you open it up, it's got that white and pink stripe on there. And I really, like I said, wanted to use this key, so I'd attach it right there to the little envelope, and just trying to decide what I'm going to put in there. I originally wanted to do like a little letter to my daughter, and then I went on Pinterest and found a quote. So I traced a heart with pencil, and then I did this quote, and it says, as for my girls, I'll raise them to think they, I can't remember what I wrote. Yeah, it's been one of those days actually today, unfortunately. It's cute. I'll just go with that. It was on Pinterest, so that's where I took it from. And something, yeah, it was, I don't even remember. I'm on the next photo now. That's where I am. Like I said, it was a super long day. I worked from 8:30 to 7:30, which is way longer than I usually ever work. And yeah, but I still wanted to get this done. So again, I'm using this photo, which was from a couple back. I love this photo. It's just so pretty. So I'm doing something that I saw on an Amy Gretchen process video for her project life. And she took one stamp and repeat stamped it all over just at the top of her project life card. And I love how that looked. So I decided to do that here. So that stamp is an Ellie Edwards one. It says love you. And I'm just using a gray, and right there I turned it the wrong way. So always make sure you put your label on the right way. Silly me is all I'm going to say. I was really glad I noticed right away, and that I was able to pull it up before it had stuck completely to that photo. And that I had placed it okay, because when it came up, it ripped a little bit of the photo. So I'm really glad that worked out. I felt like this page needed more compared to all the other pages, so I decided to do some little like little sprays, little shaking of your mist thingy. So I do some gold Heidi Shine, and then I do the same purple that I used for the doily that I colored. And exciting news, by the way, I bought 1,000 box of doilies. I'm very excited. Super, super, super excited. So I'm going to be using doilies on everything. I thought I used doilies a lot, but there's going to be doilies on pretty much everything. It's going to be pretty awesome. I'm pretty excited about this. So I got that dried, just looking through to make sure that I like how everything is looking. And I do, and I flip up and I go, oh, right, I need to still put something in there. So I decide to pull out my typewriter, and I decide to do some typing about our year, actually. So this is just a little bit of journaling about our 2010 year and how it really was an amazing year. And then I think I pretty much call it good after I stick it down. It looks exactly how I want it to look. It reminds me of how the photo with my husband and kids looked on my 2014 album. So here's a little flip through, and of course I will also have the stills. Thank you so much for watching. As always, you can find me at Create Life Paper Words on Instagram, and also right here on YouTube. If you haven't subscribed already, I would love for you to. Bye guys!